Hey folks, and I'm back. I'll say that again in case you couldn't hear me. I had a fan on. 'Cause it's boiling. Fucking heat wave. Yeah. Hey, I'm back. Just had to make sure I actually said what was actually on the page there. Mine was distracted all over the place. So, yeah, I'm recording. Mic's fine. That's fine. Only exploit and WoW are open. All is well. Let's continue. This time, he will not allow any mistakes. Kil'jaeden surmised that he needed a new force to weaken Azeroth's defenses before the Legion even set foot in upon the world. If the mortal races such as the Night Elves and Dragons were forced to contend with a new threat, they would be too weak to pose any real resistance when the Legion's true invasion arrived. It was at this time Kil'jaeden discovered the lush world of Draenor, floating peacefully within the great dark beyond. Home to shamanistic clan-based orcs and the peaceful Draenei, Draenor was as idyllic as it was vast. The noble orc clans roamed the open prairies and hunted for sport, while the inquisitive Draenei built crude cities within the world's towering cliffs and peaks. Kil'jaeden knew that Draenor's denizens had great potential to serve the Burning Legion if they could be cultivated properly. That's because Kil'jaeden was once of the same race as the Draenei. They seem to have forgotten that. And wasn't the Kil'jaeden had a major grudge against the Draenei for not becoming demon corrupted? Or maybe it was like Prophet Varen? Not Varen. It's like a combination of Wirren and the Draenei Prophet. Draenei leader. It seems like they've made a little retcon here, maybe. Anyway. Then again, maybe it's my lack of knowledge on this showing. It only seems like a retcon because I don't know enough about it. But anyway. Of the two races, Kil'jaeden saw that the warrior orcs were more susceptible to the Legion's corruption. He enthralled the elder orc shaman Ner'zhul in much the same way that Sir Jarrus brought Queen Ashara under his control in ages past. Using the cunning shaman as his conduit, the demon spread battle lust and savagery throughout the orc clans. Before long, the spiritual race was transformed into a bloodthirsty people. Kil'jaeden then urged Ner'zhul and his people to take the last step, to give themselves over entirely to the pursuit of death and war. Yet the old shaman, sensing that his people will be enslaved to hatred forever, somehow resisted the demon's command. Frustrated by Ner'zhul's resistance, Kil'jaeden searched for another orc who would deliver his people into the Legion's hands. The clever demon lord finally found the willing disciple he sought, Ner'zhul's ambitious apprentice, Gul'dan. Kil'jaeden promised Gul'dan untold power in exchange for his utter obedience. The young orc became an avid student of demonic magic and developed into the most powerful mortal warlock in history. He taught other young orcs the arcane arts and strove to eradicate the orcs' shamanistic traditions. Gul'dan showed a new brand of magic to his brethren, a terrible new power that reeked of doom. Kil'jaeden, seeking to tighten his hold over the orcs, helped Gul'dan found the Shadow Council, a secretive sect that manipulated the clans and spread the use of warlock magics throughout Draenor. As more and more orcs began to wield warlock magics, the gentle fields and streams of Draenor began to blacken and fade. Over time, the vast prairies the orcs had called home for generations withered away, leaving only red barren soil. The demon energies were slowly killing the world. Once and this is Archimonde's return and fight to Kalimdor. Sir Jarrus and the betrayal. Kaldori and the Wall of Eternity. The Last Guardian. Sure. I'll read this. Once Kel'Thuzad was made whole again, artists led the Scourge south to Dalaran. There the Lich would obtain the powerful spellbook of Medivh and use it to summon Archimonde back into the world. From that point on, Archimonde himself would begin the Legion's final invasion. Not even the wizards of the Kintor could stop Artis' forces from stealing Medivh's book, and soon Kel'Thuzad had all he needed to perform a spell. After 10,000 years, the mighty demon Archimonde and his host emerged once again upon the world of Azeroth. Yet Dalaran was not their final destination. Under orders from Kil'jaeden himself, Archimonde and his demons followed the undead Scourge to Kalimdor, bent on destroying Nordrassil, the World Tree. In the midst of this chaos, a lone mysterious prophet appeared to lend the mortal race's guidance. He actually appeared long before this. But he also appeared multiple times, so sure. This prophet proved to be none other than Medivh, the Last Guardian, miraculously returned from the Beyond to redeem himself for past sins. Medivh told the Horde and the Alliance of the dangers they faced and urged them to band together. Jaded by generations of hate, the orcs and the humans would have none of it. Medivh was forced to deal with each race separately, using prophecy and trickery to guide them across the sea, to the legendary land of Kalimdor. Ah, okay, it's phrased like a retcon, but it isn't. They do it, like, he turns up at the start, and they won't listen to him. So he does get to send some of them off towards Kalimdor, and then he gets them to work together. I thought they were just pretending they work together from the start, or something weird. I shouldn't jump the gun. The humans and orcs soon encountered the long hidden civilization of the Kaldori. The orcs, led by trolls, suffered a series of setbacks on their journey across the Kalimdor's barrens. Though they befriended Karn Bloodhoof and his mighty Tauren warriors, many orcs began to succumb to the demonic bloodlust that had plagued them for years. Troll's greatest lieutenant, Grom Hellscream, even betrayed the Horde by giving himself over to his baser instincts. As Hellscream and his loyal Warsong warriors stalked through the forest of Ashenvale, they clashed with the ancient Night Elf Sentinels. Certain that the orcs had returned to their warlike ways, the demigod Cenarius came forth to drive Hellscream and his orcs back. No, he came forth because they were cutting down trees. The Night Elves wouldn't tell him, piss off. There are trees. They just tried to kill them. Not that it would probably have helped much, but it would made the Night Elves seem, they would have the higher moral ground. Here they just seem like gits. The Hellscream and his orcs, overcome with supernatural hate and rage, managed to kill Cenarius and corrupt the ancient Forestlands. No, they killed Cenarius by drinking of a corrupted fountain that was corrupted with demon blood. Ultimately, Hellscream redeemed his honor by helping Troll defeat Manarot, after Troll imprisoned Hellscream's soul inside a crystal and they were separating him from his body, and they somehow managed to cure him of demon corruption that way. I remember Warcraft 3 vaguely. Retcons. Or vague summarizations that leave out important details. Defeat Manarot, the demon lord who first cursed the orcs with his bloodline of hate and rage. Manarot's death, the orcs' blood curse was finally brought to an end. While Medivh worked to convince the orcs and humans of the need for an alliance, the Night Elves fought the Legion in their own secretive ways. Tyrande, Whisperwind, the immortal high priestess of the Night Elf Sentinels, battled desperately to keep the demons and the undead from overrunning the forest of Ashenvale. Tyrande realized that she needed help, so she set out to awaken the Night Elf druids from their 1,000-year slumber. Calling forth her ancient love, Malfurion, who during Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos was called Furion. Only in the Frozen Throne did he gain the Mal at the start of his name. Malfurion's Stormrage. Tyrande succeeded in galvanizing her defences and driving the Legion back. With Malfurion's help, nature itself rose up to vanquish the Legion and its scourge allies. With the help of the Horde and the Alliance. While searching for... Actually, sorry, no. That was later. The way they summarize it, it sounds like they claim, like, oh yeah, the Battle of Mount Hyjal was all Night Elves. But no, it's just poor phrasing. And me jumping the gun. Anyway, while searching for more of the hibernating druids, Malfurion found the ancient Barrow prison in which he chained his brother, Illidan. Convinced that Illidan would aid them against the Legion, Tyrande set him free. Though Illidan did aid him for a time, eventually fled to pursue his own interests. The scorning, Malfurion shitting on him for actually aiding them didn't actually help the issue. Illidan was told by Arthas that, look, the only way you can free this area is to take the skull down and consume its power. And Illidan was like they actually ended up dueling for a while before that, and Illidan didn't really trust him, but he went along with it, and he became very demon-like. Because he absorbed the power, and Malfurion, got pissy at him. And so Illidan fled. And yeah, he did start pursuing his own interests. The Night Elves braced themselves and fought the Burning Legion with grim determination. The Legion had never ceased in its desire for the Well of Eternity, along the source of strength for the World Tree, and itself the heart of the Night Elf Kingdom. If their planned assault on the tree was successful, the demons would literally tear the world apart. The Well of Eternity was destroyed, though it was remade by the Tree of Eternity. The World Tree. Illidan found a lake near where the tree was and poured in a vial of water from the Well of Eternity, thereby turning the lake into the new Well of Eternity. People got very pissy at him for that. That was back when the sundering just happened, the shattering or the sundering, whatever, had just happened. When he fled earlier, when he fled was in Warcraft 3. That when he made a new world of eternity, that was like back in like 1,000 years ago, over 1,000 by the time of this game. Anyway, over time, demonic entities made their... Anyway, this is Sargeras and the Betrayal. Over time, demonic entities made their way into the Titan's worlds from the Twisting Nether, and the Pantheon elected its greatest warrior, Sargeras, to act as its frontline defense. A noble giant of molten bronze, Sargeras carried out his duties for countless millennia, seeking out and destroying these demons wherever he could find them. Over the eons, Sargeras encountered two powerful demonic races, both of which were bent on gaining power and dominance over the physical universe. The Eldar, an insidious race of devilish sorcerers, used their warlock magics to invade and enslave a number of worlds. The indigenous races of those worlds were mutated by the Eldar's malevolent powers, turned into demons themselves. But I thought it was Sargeras that corrupted them. Like that, this was retconned. Originally, they corrupted him. Then when Draenei were released, the Draenei are actually part of the same race as the Eldar, and Sargeras corrupted them. Where the world had 3 leaders. 2 of them became demons, 1 didn't, and he's the leader of the Draenei. So it seems like these books haven't been adjusted for the current lore. Though Sargeras' near limitless powers were more than enough to defeat the Eldar, he was greatly troubled by the creature's corruption and all-consuming evil. Incapable of fathoming such depravity, the Great Titan began to slip into a brooding depression. Despite his growing unease, Sargeras did rid the universe of the Warlocks by trapping them in a corner of the Twisting Nether. While his confusion and misery deepened, Sargeras was forced to contend with another group intent on disrupting the Titan's order, the Natrazium. This dark race of vampiric demons, also known as Dreadlords, conquered a number of populated worlds by possessing their inhabitants and turning them to the shadow. The nefarious, scheming Dreadlords turned whole nations against one another, manipulating them into unthinking hatred and mistrust. By manipulating them into unthinking hatred and mistrust, Sargeras defeated the Natrazium easily, but their corruption affected him deeply. As doubt and despair overwhelmed Sargeras' senses, he lost all faith, not only in his mission, but also in the Titan's vision of an ordered universe. Eventually he came to believe that the concept of order itself was folly, and that chaos and depravity were the only absolutes within the dark, lonely universe. His fellow Titans tried to persuade him of his error and calm his raging emotions, but he discarded their more optimistic beliefs as self-serving delusions. Storming from their ranks forever, Sargeras set out to find his own place in the universe. Although the Pantheon was sorrowful at his departure, the Titans could never have predicted how far their lost brother would go. But by the time Sargeras' madness had consumed the last vestiges of his valiant spirit, he believed that the Titans themselves were responsible for creation's failure. Deciding at last to undo their works throughout the universe, he resolved to form an unstoppable army that would set the physical universe aflame. Even Sargeras' satanic form became distorted from the corruption that plagued his once noble heart. His eyes, hair, and beard erupted in fire, and his metallic bronze skin split open to reveal an endless furnace of blistering heat. In his fury, Sargeras shattered the prisons of the Eldar and the Natrazium, and set the loathsome demons free. These cunning creatures bowed before the Dark Titan's vast rage, and offered to serve him in whatever malicious ways they could. From the ranks of the powerful Eldar, Sargeras picked 2 champions to command his demonic army of destruction. Kil'jaeden the Deceiver was chosen to seek out the darkest races in the universe, and recruit them into Sargeras' ranks. The second champion, Archimonde the Defiler, was chosen to lead Sargeras' vast armies into battle against any who would resist the Titan's will. Kil'jaeden's first move was to enslave the vampiric Dreadlords under his terrible power. The Dreadlords served as his personal agents throughout the universe, and they took pleasure in locating primitive races for their master to corrupt and bring into the fold. First among the Dreadlords was Tychondris the Darkener. Tychondris had served Kil'jaeden as a perfect soldier, and agreed to bring Sargeras' burning will to all the dark corners of the universe. The mighty Archimonde also empowered agents of his own, calling upon the malefic Pit Lords and the barbarous leader Manoroth the Destructor. Archimonde hoped to establish a fighting elite that would scour creation, of all life. Once Val'sharah saw that his armies were amassed and ready to follow his every command, he launched his raging forces into the vastness of the Great Dark. He referred to his growing army as the Burning Legion. To this date, it is still unclear how many worlds they consumed and burned in their unholy burning crusade across the universe. So yeah, that's not perfectly accurate to the new lore. That is on retcon stuff. Yeah. At least if my memory serves. I think I got some of that from Taverncast, and they aren't the most accurate when they did WoW stuff. I think they were somewhat inaccurate. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Double check it. If I'm wrong, point me to where, with your sources, and I'll double check it myself, just to be sure. Because I would hate to be misled another time, Not saying that they were misleading people, they just maybe flubbed some stuff, Accidents happen. Anyway, 10,000 years before the orcs and humans clashed in their first war, the world of Azeroth cradled only one massive continent, surrounded by infinite raging seas. But isn't there meant to be something at the other side of the world? Then again, this is a book written by people in this world who probably don't know if that even exists. So they're probably going by the fact it doesn't, since there's no evidence for it, they're probably presuming it doesn't. Apparently, at the other side of the world, see, there's all this here. There's bound to be something over this, further this way or this way, at the other side of the planet. Remember some people theorizing an old god continent. Anyway, that landmass was known as Kalimdor, and was home to a number of disparate races and creatures, all vying for survival amongst the savage elements of the waking world. At the Dark Continent's centre was a mysterious lake of incandescent energies. The lake, which would be later called the Well of Eternity, was the true heart of the world's magic and natural power. Drawing its energies from the infinite great dark beyond the world, the well acted as a magical font, sending its potent energies out across the world to nourish life in all its wondrous forms. In time, a primitive tribe of nocturnal humanoids cautiously made their way to the edge of the mesmerizing, enchanted lake. The feral nomadic humanoids, drawn by the well's strange energies, built crude homes upon its tranquil shores. Over time, the wells also remember they were saying the Draenites built crude shelters in the cliffs and peaks. They're probably referring to the Draenei from Warcraft 3 that would now be called the Lost Ones, or the Broken. Broken are, the Lost Ones are broken that have gone even further, being corrupted even further. And broken were originally Draenei that have been corrupted or something. There's no Lost Ones left in the game last I checked. They've all been removed. All of them were pretty much in Swamp of Sorrows and in Blasted Lands, and I haven't seen any in Blasted Lands. Haven't checked Swamp of Sorrows. But anyway, over time, the well's cosmic power affected the strange tribe, making them strong, wise, and virtually immortal. The tribe adopted the name Kaldori, which meant children of the stars in their native tongue. To celebrate their budding society, they constructed great structures and temples around the lake's periphery. The Kaldori, or Night Elves as they would later be known, worshipped the moon goddess Elune, and believed that she slept within the well's shimmering depths during the daylight hours. The early Night Elf priests and seers studied the well with insatiable curiosity, driven to plumb its untold secrets and power. As their society grew, the Night Elves explored the breadth of Kalimdor and encountered its myriad descendants. The only creatures that gave them pause were the ancient and powerful dragons. Though the great serpentine beasts were reclusive, they did much to safeguard their known lands from potential threats. The Night Elves believed that the dragons held themselves to be the protectors of the world, and that they and their secrets were best left alone. In time, the Night Elves' curiosity led them to meet and befriend a number of powerful entities, not the least of which was Cenarius, a mighty demigod of the primordial forest lands. I hope I'm not reading too fast, I'm just giddy, I want to see content. But I also want to read these. The great artist Cenarius grew fond of the inquisitive Night Elves, and spent a great deal of time teaching them about the natural world. The tranquil Kaldori developed a strong empathy for the living force of Kalimdor, and revelled in the harmonious balance of nature. Yet, as the seemingly endless ages passed, the Night Elf civilization expanded both territorially and culturally. The temples, roads, and dwelling places stretched across the breadth of the Dark Continent. Ashara, the Night Elf's beautiful and gifted queen, built an immense, wondrous palace on the Welsh shore that housed her favorite servitors within its bejeweled halls. Her servitors, whom she called the Caldori, or Highborn, doted on her every command, believed themselves to be great